Hello, in this video you will learn how to create a PHP middleware using Slim framework. Slim is a lightweight PHP web framework that is designed to make it easy to create and maintain web applications. Slim has a minimalistic approach, providing only the essentials for building web applications and allowing developers to add additional functionality through the use of middleware. Now I'll show you 10 common ways in which a middleware can be used to improve your application. First on our list is authentication and authorization. Such a middleware can be used to verify user credentials and determine if the user has access to a certain resource. This is an important step in keeping your application secure. Next, we have input validation and sanitization. A middleware can be used to ensure that incoming data meets certain criteria and to clean up any data that does not. This helps to prevent errors and protect against malicious attacks. Caching is another common use case for middlewares. By storing and retrieving frequently requested resources, a middleware can improve the performance of your application. A middleware can be used to record application events and performance metrics for later analysis, helping you to identify and troubleshoot issues. Error handling and exception management is also crucial. A middleware can be used to catch and address any errors that occur during the processing of a request, helping to keep your application running and smoothly. Request and response manipulation is another use case. Middleware can be used to modify the request or response before it is handled by the application, allowing you to add headers, modify the body, or perform other actions. With a middleware, you can handle requests with different accept headers, returning different formats of the same resource based on the client's request. A middleware can also be used to control the rate at which users or clients can make requests, helping to prevent abuse and protect the performance of your application. A middleware can be used to implement various security measures, such as preventing cross-site request forgery attacks. Finally, internationalization and localizations are also important use cases. A middleware can be used to handle different languages, time zones, and currencies, making your application more accessible to the global audience. The Slim framework provides support for the PSR15 middleware interfaces. PSR15 is also known as HTTP Server Request Handlers, is a set of guidelines for creating middleware for PHP web applications. It defines a standard interface for middleware, making it easy for developers to use different middleware components together in a consistent way. The standard interface for a middleware is the middleware interface. This interface defines the process method that must be implemented by any middleware class. The process method is where the middleware logic is executed, and it takes two arguments, the request and the request handler. The request object represents the incoming HTTP request, and the handler is used to pass the request to the next middleware. The process method must return a response object. The request handler interface is also in PSR15 interface, and it is used to handle HTTP requests. It defines the handle method that allows the middleware to pass the request to the next middleware in the pipeline. The result of the handle method is a HTTP response object that can be used for further processing. For example, let's create a middleware that logs the request and response information. First, the middleware class must implement the middleware interface. For logging purposes, we declare a logger interface that will be injected by the DI container. Next, we are implementing the process interface by creating the process method. In this example, we will fetch some information such as the HTTP method and the URL of the request. Then we build a log message and pass it to the logger. Then we pass the request to the next middleware by invoking the handle method on the handler object. As a result, we get a response object. At this point, we could just return the response object, but instead we also log some response information such as the HTTP status code. Finally, we return the response object. Note that the code before the handle method is to process the ingoing direction, and the code after the handle method is to handle the outgoing direction. You can use the Slim application add method to add a middleware. Please note that Slim uses the last in, first out principle for middleware. This means that the last middleware you add will be the first one that is executed. So keep this in mind, because the order of the middleware execution is not the same as the order in which you add the middleware in your code. If you have no DI container, you need to create the objects manually and as shown in this example. In this case, we create a logger and pass it to the logger middleware. Then we create a logger middleware instance and pass it to the add method. If you have installed a DI container such as PHP DI, you could just pass the fully qualified class name instead. Sometimes you may need to execute a middleware only for a specific set of routes. For example, to protect all of your API endpoints. In this case, you can add a middleware to a specific route or a routing group, as shown here in this example. In summary, Slim Framework supports the PSR15 standard middleware interfaces. This allows for a consistent and easy integration of various middleware components. Finally, this will improve your application performance and security. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this.